a crime may be only a necessity. The thought fills me with horror. Am I in a prison? Or is this the cell of an insane asylum? Am I the victim of a villain? Or am I really mad? My pulse is quickening, but my memory is quite clear. I can look back over every incident in my life. She has just taken away my food. I asked her to bring me only eggs, as I was afraid of everything else. She promised that she would do it. Are they looking for me? My guardian is Theodore Fellner, Cathedral Lane, number 14. My own name is Asta Langen. They took away my traveling bag, but they did not find this little book and the tiny bottle of perfume which I had in the pocket of my dress. And I found this old pen and a little ink in a drawer of the writing table in my room. Wednesday. The stranger was here again to day. I recognized his soft voice. He spoke to the woman in the hallway outside my room. I listened, but I could catch only a few words. "To-morrow evening. I will come myself. No responsibility for you." Were these words meant for me? Are they going to take me away? Where will they take me? Then they do not dare to kill me here. My head is burning hot. I have not dared to drink a drop of liquid for 4 days. I dare not take anything into which they might have put some drug or some poison. Who could have such an interest in my death? It cannot be because of the fortune which is to be mine when I come of age, for if I die, my father has willed it to various charitable institutions. I have no relatives, at least none who could inherit my money. I had never harmed any one. Who can wish for my death? There is somebody with her. Somebody was listening at the door. I have a feeling as if I was being watched, and yet I examine the door, but there is no crack anywhere and the key is in the lock. Still, I seem to feel a burning glance resting on me. Aha! The parrot! Is this another delusion? Oh God! Let it end soon. I am not yet quite insane, but all these unknown dangers around me will drive me mad. I must fight against them. Thursday. They brought me back my traveling bag. My attendant is uneasy. She was longer in cleaning up the room than usual to day. She seemed to want to say something to me, and yet she did not dare to speak. Is something to happen to day, then? I did not close my eyes all night. Can one be made insane from a distance, hypnotized into it, as it were? I will not allow fear alone to make me mad. My enemy shall not find it too easy. He may kill my body, but that is all. These were the last words which Asta Langen had written in her notebook, the little book which was the only confidant of her terrible need. When the detective had finished reading it, he closed his eyes for a few minutes to let the impression made by the story sink into his mind. Then he rose and put on his overcoat. He entered the commissioner's room and took up his hat and cane. "Where are you going, Muller?" asked Herr von Mayringen. "To Cathedral Lane, if you will permit it." "At this hour? It is 11:15. Is there any such hurry, do you think?" "There is no train from any of our stations until morning, and I have already sent a policeman to watch the house. Besides, I know that Fellner is a highly respected man." "There is many a man who is highly respected until he is found out," remarked the detective. "And you are going to find out about Fellner," smiled the commissioner. "And this evening, too." "This very evening. If he is asleep, I shall wake him up. That is the best time to get at the truth about a man." The commissioner sat down at his desk and wrote out the necessary credentials for the detective. A few moments later Muller was in the street. He left the notebook with the commissioner. It was snowing heavily and an icy north wind was howling through the street. Muller turned up the collar of his coat and walked on quickly. It was just striking 12:15 when he reached Cathedral Lane. As he walked slowly along the moonlit side of the pavement, a man stepped out of a shadow to meet him. It was the policeman who had been sent to watch the house. Like Muller, he wore plain clothes. "Well?" the latter asked. "Nothing new. Mr. Fellner has been ill in bed for several days, quite seriously ill, they tell me. The janitor seems very fond of him. Hm! We'll see what sort of a man he is. You can go back to the station now. You must be nearly frozen standing here." Muller looked carefully at the house which bore the number 14. It was a handsome, old fashioned building, a true patrician mansion, which looked worthy of all confidence. But Muller knew that the outside of a house has very little to do with the honesty of the people who live in it. He rang the bell carefully, as he wished no one but the janitor to hear him. The latter did not seem at all surprised to find a stranger asking for the owner of the house at so late an hour. "You come with a telegram, I suppose? Come right upstairs, then. I have orders to let you in." These were the words with which the old janitor greeted Muller. The detective could see from this that Mr. Theodore Fellner's conscience must be perfectly clear. The expected telegram probably had something to do with the non-appearance of Asta Langen, of whose terrible fate her guardian evidently as yet knew nothing. The janitor knocked on one of the doors, which was opened in a few moments by an old woman. "Is it the telegram?" she asked sleepily. "Yes," said the janitor. "No," said Muller, "but I want to speak to Mr. Fellner." The two old people stared at him in surprise. "To speak to him?" said the woman, and shook her head as if in doubt. "Is it about Miss Langen?" "Yes. Please wake him." "But he is ill, and the doctor—" "Please wake him up. I will take the responsibility." "But who are you?" asked the janitor. Muller smiled a little at this belated caution on the part of the old man, and answered: "I will tell Mr. Fellner who I am, but please announce me at once. It concerns the young lady." His expression was so grave that the woman waited no longer, but let him in and then disappeared through another door. The janitor stood and looked at Muller with half distrustful, half anxious glances. "It's no good news you bring," he said after a few minutes. "You may be right. Has anything happened to our dear young lady?" "Then you know Miss Asta Langen and her family?" "Why, of course. I was in service on the estate when all the dreadful things happened." "What things?" "Why, the divorce and But you are a stranger, and I shouldn't talk about these family affairs to you. You had better tell me what has happened to our young lady." "I must tell that to your master first." The woman came back at this moment and said to Muller: "Come with me, please. Berner, you are to stay here until the gentleman goes out again." Muller followed her through several rooms into a large bed chamber, where he found an elderly man, very evidently ill, lying in bed. "Who are you?" asked the sick man, raising his head from the pillow. The woman had gone out and closed the door behind her. "My name is Muller, police detective. Here are my credentials." Fellner glanced hastily at the paper. "Why does the police send to me?" "It concerns your ward." Fellner sat upright in bed now. He leaned over towards his visitor as he said, pointing to a letter on the table beside his bed: "Asta's overseer writes me from her estate that she left home on the 18th of November to visit me. She should have reached here on the evening of the 18th, and she has not arrived yet. I did not receive this letter until to day.